Well, I did it. It took me going into custom duel mode, having a few games, and then just essentially deciding to run down the turn counter in a game just because I had him locked out pretty much. But I eventually got major rank. So, what do I get for major rank? Not the ability I was looking for. I was quite overshadowed by a whole bunch of unyielding rage when I found out that I did not get extended support range off of getting to major rank. I am guessing that's the next level up. I would like to invest in getting to the next level up, but there's really not much point in doing so, if I'm going to be brutally honest. To be fair though, getting to major rank does unlock 2 other abilities. They are both hidden though, because they don't show up in here obviously, and I'll be able to show them both off in this one segment. Now I did mention I did do a few custom duels. It's meant that I've got playsets of stuff like Flame Swordsman, Sparrow, Cerberus, and a few other of the Pyros down the bottom here. Now I've not put all of them into the deck. I mean, I've still only got 2 Fire Yara, but I don't really care too much about that. But I've put a bunch of them into the deck, pretty much depending on... Obviously, I've got a pretty short deck cost to cover, because my opponent's, I think, like 861 deck cost. But I was able to cover it reasonably well. I also got some more Slate Warriors as well. I didn't show that off. But I'm running 2 of them in this deck for a very good reason, as we're about to see. She's pretty much the same sort of deal as Bakura, where she's just low deck cost because the turf is, as you've probably already worked out by now, covered in Crush. So, I'm going to go ahead and use this Crush to my advantage because, again, I can use the Slate Warriors once I see them in my hand. Obviously, I've got Forest. I'm going to try to sort of set it up over here. I'd like to try to hang on to a little bit of this Crush terrain, just to limit her movements. She's got a bunch of sea terrain here, so she can use that to her advantage, but I'm just going to go ahead and set this little forest section up over here, just to sort of chill out in. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to keep moving forward, and basically just try to get as close to her as possible. I can actually hit her for 1200 right here, so... no reason to not go for that. This might be another quick game. I have pretty much committed that if it's going to end up a bloody 6 or 7 minute segment, I'm just going to be like, fuck it, I'll do it, because there's no way in Lord's hell that I'm going to freaking let another game go for 23 minutes or shit like that. Anyhow, this is one of the 2 new abilities that we've picked up. It's called the Find ability, I think. I don't think it ever actually got a hidden... I don't think it ever actually got a proper name, so we just called it Find. On each of these arenas where you fight different duelists, there is a hidden card. To find it, you just need the appropriate type of deck leader. I think the most of them get the ability at major rank, and if you go around to each duelist, you move your deck leader to the correct spot, and you'll find a card like this. This is Jowls of Dark Demise. It's another Immortal type monster, and it's probably one of my favorite cards in the entire game because of its unique ability to permanently seize control of whatever monster flips it up in battle, whether it be the attacking monster or if Jowls itself attacks. It's basically just a permanent change of heart on pretty much crack. And it's got some, and it's actually quite awesome as a result. It's friggin' awesome. I like to call it Jowlsy. It's very rare when I actually come up with a short sort of nickname for a monster, but that's just a bit of a testament to how awesome it is and how much I like it. So, anyhow, Kairyu Shin was only 100 points below Sparrow there because it fucking generated sea terrain. At least it's not Crush, but it's still a bit on the side of things. Now, what sort of terrain is she on at the moment? She's on Forest. I'd like to get myself into a position where I can hit her, but the only forest terrain I can actually put a card on that can actually move 2 spaces to hit her is got Crush right there, so kinda can't really deal with that. I got Gate Dig, I could probably use that. I'll sit back here. I don't really need to do too much, but I'll move out of the forest terrain just because it limits the amount of attacking power her monsters can actually use on me. I might just set up camp in the wasteland terrain just that's just sort of surrounded by all this crush, because even if her big sea monsters attack into me, unless they change the field, they're not going to do a whole lot because I'm in wasteland, so it's going to weaken them anyway. So there's Sparrow. I don't know if she's running any trap cards. I have my doubts as to whether that face down defense mode card in front of her is a trap, but she does have Shadow of Eyes though. I should be able to cover that with Silver Fang though, because I would like to get rid of that, because having Behemoths in defense mode is really, really good. Maybe I'll get additional copies of that so that if I lose my one copy, I won't have to worry about, oh my god, they're all in defense mode, they're all doing stall tactics and shit. Because I don't want to have to be putting up with that shit again. So, run that over in before she's got a second copy. I'm thankful for that. And, do you want to go Sparrow again? Not too sure. Can these two make a Marvelous? Yes, they can. Okay. No, not Marvelous. Garvus. That's what I was thinking. Ram into this thing. I'll get Spellbound by it again, because water over fire. Alright, so I know that if she summons something to her left, which she doesn't, it would only be able to hit me for like maybe 1400 at best. Okay, Starboy, that's basically just Hoshidengen for water attribute monsters. This won't be... I don't believe this will be game, even if I use the equip card. Because if I attack into her... Oh, it will be, because terrain boost. In that case, 7 minutes? Yep, we'll do it. I'm fine with that. Didn't even have to use my Slate Warriors either. I'm quite happy with that overall, because I was able to show off the Find ability. And here I'm able to show off the other ability that Pyros, among others, can get. And that is a second slot arrow up there, above that middle one in the middle. So if you line up 3 cards in a row where that top slot is, you might not get the card that you line up, but you will still get a special card for lining them up. And you can get as many as 5, so you can get one down the bottom and then you've got 2 diagonal ones. You can get as many as 5 bonus cards in a row if you do it correctly. That's how awesome it is. That I think is Tacriminos or something like that, or like Sea Turtle or something. No, that's... Okay, I don't really care what these are because I'm probably not going to use them. And Fake Trap. Congratulations. I like how her deck leader had nothing to do with the type of deck that she ran. She just had Witch of the Black Forest. I'm not too sure what the go is with that, but whatever. No, she was blah 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 blah. Something to do with Millennium Necklace, even though she doesn't have it. So, having knocked her over and gotten the 7th Rose card, it triggers a cutscene where Leather Pants shows up. And then it unlocks this fellow for me to duel. Who is this idiot, you may ask? Well, this guy has an equivalent in Forbidden Memories, but as far as I'm aware, does not have any other equivalent in any other game as far as I'm aware. It might have one in, like, one of the more obscure Game Boy games or something like that, but as far as I'm aware, there was a character in Forbidden Memories called Haishin, and this guy is his equivalent for this game. He poses as the King of England, because you totally couldn't tell that from the bloody crown that he wears, and beating this guy pretty much pushes you further into the end game, so that's what we get to deal with next time. Before we do that though, of course, thank Christ I'm continuing to remember this, we get to show off Jowsy. So, big effect. And of course it, like every other immortal type in the game, transforms adjacent spaces to crush when it dies in battle. It's only really going to be a case if it's already face up when he gets attacked. So, It's actually quite unique in its effect because it has a weird like thing where it sort of fades its way into the opposing monster and then just sort of turns them against the opponent. So it's kind of cool. It also comes back when that infected monster dies. So if you combine this with Darkness Approaches, which forces all of your cards face down again, you can get as many uses out of this as you want. I'd love to be able to get 3 copies of this, because just fucking around with your opponent's monsters in a deck like this just it would be absolutely hilarious. But I dare say this is going to be a permanent addition to my deck for the future, and I quite like it. That's about all that there is to say. I can still like Kaiba's Blue Eyes and actually make sure to use one in some capacity in this game before it ends. Anyhow, let's have a look and see what card we get. 205 live. Don't know why I had to make the WWE reference there, but Dragoness the Wicked Knight. It's not even a dragon, because it's too far down on the list, which makes it a warrior. I think it's a warrior. Not the worst idea in the world. I think it's like 1200 by 800, so it might actually be better for certain things. I think it's also a female as well. I'm not too sure if it counts as a female. There's no way to actually read the subtype, but let's actually have a bit of a proper look once we've put the code in here. GKN3, was it? Yeah. UVGF. And good fight. Yeah, Dragoness the Wicked Knight. 12 by 9, making it 21 deck cost, which just makes the Judgment Hand better. Because I actually found that if you fuse Judgment Hand with, I think pretty much any other warrior type, as long as it's below a certain threshold, you can get Judgment, which is a 2700 in meadow terrains, which you can sort of work with from there. It'll be good for next set because the bulk of the field we'll be battling on is meadow. But yeah, let's see. Okay, it's not a female. If it was a female, it would benefit from stuff like Electro Whip, Cyber Shield, Malevolent Nuzzle, that sort of thing, but those aren't in the list here, so it's not a female. Alright, in that case, it pretty much sucks. Judgment Hand is still the better option. Alright, so that's about it. Next time we'll be dueling somebody who actually looks more like a king than Yugi does.